Black Site is a military thriller that follows Colt Rayner, an ex-Delta Force operator and a total badass. When Rayner makes a hasty decision to disobey orders in Pakistan, he gets the rest of his ops team killed and emerges as the lone survivor. He is dishonorably discharged and left to live out the rest of his life as a drunk. Years later, Rayner is met by former comrades and commanders and is told that some of his team actually survived and were captured by Al-Qaeda terrorists. What the US needs to save those men is an off-the-books Black Ops mission, and Rayner is just the man for the job. But it turns out that there's much more at stake than the lives of a few captured soldiers. Black Site is a fast-paced, well-executed story written by American badass Thomas Greer using the pen name Dalton Fury. If you'll excuse my fanboying for a moment, Greer is actually a Delta Force commander himself and was involved in the hunt for Osama bin Laden. It's what his first book was about, so look forward to that review later on. Not only can the man write a good character, but his technical expertise on military procedures just oozes out of each page. Greer clearly knows what he's talking about when he sends Rayner behind enemy lines. Rayner makes for a compelling hero, especially if you like American military men. He doesn't really break any new molds, but in my opinion, he doesn't have to. He loves his country, puts others before himself, and knows 1,000 ways to kill a man. He's your standard spec ops badass, and that was good enough for me. Outside of his failed mission, he didn't really have a tragic backstory or some unresolved trauma. His reintroduction back into military life does come off as a little cliche, as we've seen multiple times in books, movies, and parodies of both. But what is a character without a strong supporting cast? Assisting Rayner, we have multiple people behind the scenes, including Colonel Pete Grauer, UAV Specialist Pamela Archer, and Master Sergeant David Monk Krause. Of the three, Krause stands out the most. He's a complete hard-ass, almost to the point of being a total asshole, but that's actually a good thing. He's sending Rayner alone into a foreign country where the US won't be able to give him any significant assistance. If Rayner gets captured or injured, he's completely on his own. Monk is responsible for training Rayner in the Colorado Mountains before the mission starts to get him back into shape, and he is a complete ass about it. But he does so with good intentions, to get Rayner back into prime fitness within only a few weeks. There's also Jamal, a Pakistani citizen who agreed to help Rayner get into the country despite the heavy risk of execution by terrorists. He shows a lot of brass in only a few pages, and it really helps him stand out. He also shows up more than once. While I don't want to give too much away, Jamal's courage, despite his openly displayed fear, made him a lot of fun to read about. It's no exaggeration to say that Rayner wouldn't have been able to succeed without him. The action in the book is another strong point. Rayner has to slip in and out of enemy encampments and deal with patrols and the constant threat of surveillance. His encounters with the enemy are varied, which give the story an expanded scope on how dangerous missions like this are in real life. While I have no experience in this kind of thing myself and can't judge the validity, it's told so well that I'd believe missions like this actually happen. The tension and pacing also earn high marks. Being behind enemy lines, Rayner is constantly on the edge. His mission to rescue his old teammates could very easily fail, and there are many unknowns and variables that are presented to the reader early. Rayner is given a brief training montage in the Colorado Mountains and is shot on multiple occasions with simunition, simulated ammunition if you don't know. Not only does he have to avoid the enemy, since one man couldn't possibly take on an army on his own, but he has to battle the elements and do his best not to risk exposure. It's revealed early that it's much easier said than done, so when Rayner does go behind enemy lines, there is a real concern for his safety. It flows well and reads realistically. Overall, the book is definitely a page-turner, well worth the read. The characters are great, there's real tension and excitement that demands your attention, and Rayner's mission leads to something much bigger, but I'm not about to spoil that here. This is a damn good book. Sadly, Commander Greer died in October of 2016 from cancer, so we won't be seeing any more books from him, which is a shame because the man was a very talented writer. At least he put out a few excellent books for the rest of us to remember him by. So, have you read the book? What did you think? If not, do you want to read it now? Whatever your thoughts, comment below and stay tuned for more.